Compound word stress. Compound words are composed of multiple words that together mean one idea. Examples of compound words are phrasal verbs, compound nouns, and compound adjectives. Compound words are fixed expressions since they always occur together to mean something quite different from their constituents. That is, frequently, their meaning cannot be inferred from the sum of the meaning of each individual word of the compound. Since they have one meaning, compound words work like one word and have their own intrinsic stress patterns. Compound words need to be contrasted with descriptive expressions, whose meaning is indeed the sum of the constituent words of the expressions. These descriptive expressions follow the normal stress pattern of English sentences, the details of which we learn in Chapter 3 of this book, Rhythmic Stress. The main idea, though, is that, normally, words that are stressed in sentences are content words such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and unstressed words are function words such as prepositions, pronouns, determiners, conjunctions, and modal verbs. Among the content words, nouns are normally stressed the most. Compound words and descriptive expressions can look identical, but they mean something entirely different. We know which meaning is intended by observing the location of their stress. For instance, consider the expression green house. If it follows the normal sentence stress pattern where the noun is the most stressed, that is, if house is stressed, the expression means a house painted in green color. But if an unusual stress pattern is used, i.e., that green is stressed, it means a glass building in which plants are grown. For example, the green house on this street is for sale. Most botanical gardens have a greenhouse. In general, compound nouns are stressed on the first word in the compound, and compound verbs and compound adjectives are stressed on the second word in the compound. But there are exceptions to this rule depending on the stressed syllable of surrounding words. Phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb is a combination of a verb and one or two particles. The particles are prepositions or adverbs. The particles change the meaning of the verb, giving each phrasal verb a unique meaning. There are thousands of phrasal verbs in English, and in everyday speech, English natives use phrasal verbs instead of their Latin counterparts. For example, cancel, call it off. Depart, take off. Discuss, talk it over. Do, carry out. Reject, turn down. Visit, call in, come over, drop in. Wait, hang on. Relax, kick back, chill out, wind down. Two stress patterns for phrasal verbs. Single stress or double stress. The patterns mainly depend on the type of the particle. If the particle of a phrasal verb is a preposition, the phrasal verb is single stressed. The stress lies on the verb and there is no stress on the preposition. If the particle of a phrasal verb is an adverb, the phrasal verb is double stressed. The primary stress is on the particle and the secondary stress is on the verb. Single stressed phrasal verbs. If the particle of a phrasal verb is a preposition, the phrase is single stressed, with the primary stress going on the verb. There is no stress on the preposition. So for instance, look at has the same stress pattern as edit and borrow. These are examples of single stressed phrasal verbs. Look at. We're looking at them. Look for. I am looking for them. Make of. What do you make of it? Care for. Would you care for it? Agree with. I agree with you. Laugh at. They laughed at me. Disagree with. I disagree with him. Stranded preposition. A stranded preposition is a preposition that comes at the end of a sentence. It is stranded because its object is moved to somewhere earlier in the sentence. A stranded preposition is pronounced fully, although unstressed. In other words, prepositions are normally unstressed, and when unstressed, their sounds are greatly reduced or weakened. But when a preposition is the last word in a sentence, even though the preposition is not stressed, it is said with its full dictionary pronunciation. So, prepositions have two kinds of pronunciations, weak and strong. The weak pronunciation is normally used, and the strong pronunciation is used for special circumstances such as the stranded preposition. Following are examples of weak and strong pronunciations of prepositions. At, of, of, from, to, to, for, on. Stranded prepositions frequently occur in passive sentences, relative clauses, and WH questions. Compare the following pairs of sentences in light of the pronunciations of the prepositions. In each pair, the first sentence has the weak pronunciation of the preposition, but the second sentence has the strong pronunciation of the preposition, as it is a stranded preposition. In other words, the verbs are stressed, but the prepositions are pronounced fully, although unstressed. We need to look at it thoroughly. It needs to be thoroughly looked at. They had not reckoned with his resentment. He is someone to be reckoned with. I've sent for your father. Are these the books I sent for? I am in love with her. She is the woman I am in love with. You can rely on me. Who can we rely on? I am waiting for nobody. Who are you waiting for? She was talking to me. Who was she talking to? She came from the bookstore. Where does she come from? Stressed preposition. Prepositions are stressed when they are used for contrast. For example, I saw him looking at her, not for her. The kids don't laugh at me, they laugh with me. The contrast can be implicit. That is, it does not need a contrasting preposition because the meaning is sufficiently contrastive. For example, we can't leave Mary behind. Let's ask her to come with us. What shall I do with my umbrella? Oh, bring it with you. Two-syllable prepositions. The prepositions of more than one syllable must have one syllable that is stressed. The stressed syllable is stressed when such a preposition is used in phrasal verbs. These are examples of multisyllabic prepositions. About, against, along, above, among, across, after, around, below, beneath, beside, behind, beyond, before, between, during, except, inside, into, outside, onto, over, under, upon, without, within, throughout. These are sentences with phrasal verbs with multisyllabic prepositions. She will look after him. You can do without it. Guess who I bumped into the other day? You should walk across the street.